Hello out there, YouTube. What's going on, guys? It is D-Don here, the most chill COD player. Have for you guys in the background to watch a 102 kill game. This is some solo gameplay, playing just some 6v6 domination, so I think you guys will enjoy it. One thing about this gameplay as well is that I was going for gold camo on my Kuda, so I actually was not running any attachments on my gun. So again, 102 kills solo, 6v6 with a gun that doesn't have any attachments. So I think you guys will find it enjoyable to watch in the background. Today's topic of conversation is going to be about cross-platform gaming. It's been kind of a hot topic as of late, because in case you did not know, Microsoft announced that it would support gaming between the Xbox and other online gaming platforms and consoles, so like PC players and PlayStation. Basically, that's what that amounts to, just basically the PC and the PlayStation users, which is really, really exciting. It's something that, PlayStation and Xbox users have been asking for a long time. It's something that me and my friends have always discussed and wished for. Wouldn't it be nice if, I had a PS3 and you had an Xbox 360, if we could play together? And now it's, man, it'd be really nice if, my friends who have an Xbox One could play with me on PS4. And now it would appear that could possibly become a reality. So, Microsoft has already announced, this was a few weeks ago, that they, are all on board for this as long as the developers of the games support it. Which a lot of people, including myself, kind of took that as Microsoft giving Sony an open invitation to come out and make a statement and basically back them on that, saying that they would be also interested in producing games that would be compatible for cross-platform play. Now, the reason why I'm making this video now is because Sony has actually issued a statement in regards to that. And unfortunately, to be quite honest with you guys up front, it's a very vague statement, but I will go ahead and read you guys here the verbatim quote. So it says here, PlayStation has been supporting cross-platform play between PC on several software titles, starting with Final Fantasy XI on PS2 and PC back in 2002. So that statement alone doesn't really give us too much information. I guess basically that was Sony's way of saying we've been doing this for a while, and it's definitely something that we can do. They also go on to say we would be happy to have the conversation with any publishers or developers who are interested in cross-platform play. And I think that's really the really exciting part. It's, like I said, very vague, and there's not really too much definite about it. They're not saying we are going to do this for sure, we are on board. They're just saying if there are publishers out there who want to develop games that promote cross-platform play, then we would be interested in having those conversations, which on its own I still think is very exciting, and I think it's something that warrants a lot of attention. I think it's something that would be extremely beneficial for the gaming community, especially console gamers. There is one thing, however, which I think they would have to address, and that is adding PC players into the mix. So why is that a big deal? I mean, essentially they just make the games and then port them over between the platforms, so it's not that big of a deal, right? Well, here's the thing, is that the big difference, of course, between having, two consoles play together and having multiple consoles and PC players play together is that if you are playing on a PC, you are not playing on the same PC that someone else is. If you're playing on a PS4, you are playing on the exact same hardware and software as the other person who is playing on a PS4. And conversely, if you are playing on an Xbox One, you're playing on the same Xbox One that the other person is playing on, aside from maybe like hard drive space or something like that. But basically it's the same thing. About the only variation that you have, like I said, besides storage space, is maybe you have a SCUF controller, or maybe you have control freaks, or some other peripheral on your controller. But even that doesn't make that big of a difference, to be honest. I used to play with control freaks, and I thought that, they were essential. I've since not used control freaks, and I've really been enjoying myself. I also used to own a scuff, but it broke on me twice. I had to get 2 different scuffs, actually 3. I had my Xbox 360 scuff, then I got a PlayStation 4 scuff, which broke, so then I had to get another one after that, and that one broke. And I just got tired of dumping money into a company that didn't have long-lasting controllers, so I haven't bought any more. But I mean, now they're starting to make all these different button layouts to kind of allow people to do the same thing that you would normally do with a scuff without actually having to purchase that kind of controller and drop that sort of money. So pretty much what the point I'm trying to get at, aside from scuffs and control freaks, there's really not that much of a difference that you're going to have, and there's not really going to be much of an advantage. And the reason I mention this is, of course, because PC players play on mouse and keyboard, and so they are going to have a massive, massive advantage for players who are playing on a console. And you may not think it's that big of a deal. And at first glance, it's obvious that there are noobs and there are people with bad aim or, bad controls on every console and on PC. But I'm talking about, the above average to average player on PC has much better aim than the average or even above average player on console. And no one can deny, it's not, me stating my opinion, it's a fact. You have more control, you have more range of motion, and you have more precision when you're using a mouse and keyboard compared to a controller, because you're using more muscles, you're using, a portion of your arm, and not just, the tips of your thumbs and the, a couple other fingers. You're using your whole hand, so you can do multiple things very quickly on a mouse and keyboard, and you just have so much more precision with a mouse. In addition to that, every PC build is different. Some people, even though it's not a huge advantage, some people may have a slight graphical advantage and have an advantage when it comes to frame rates, which doesn't give you a huge advantage in gunfights, but it may make a difference, say, on recognizing a player hiding in a dark spot on the map or something. So that is an issue I think that, we will have to address as a community. And I think it also begs the question whenever you start to factor in competitive gaming, because like I said, you have such an advantage playing on mouse and keyboard than you do on console that even pro players are probably going to get smacked if they played a pro player who played on mouse and keyboard. And if you have people who are playing on PlayStation or Xbox trying to compete in a first person shooter against someone who's using a mouse and keyboard, they don't really stand a fair chance. And to be honest, it does create a divide. So I would be kind of curious to see how they would deal with competitive gaming when it came to first person shooters and stuff like that, because I think that you would almost have to keep all the competitive matches on a single platform or on PC or something, which would be interesting because we've never seen, Call of Duty competitive on PC, at least not in the current state that it's in now, where it's expanding rapidly and very, very popular. So I would be interested to see what they do with competitive, but the idea, at least, of playing multi-console across the board, I think is really exciting. I think it's a step in the right direction, and I think it's really, really, really good for the gaming community. This also kind of leads to the question is like I mentioned in the statements before. By the way, the links to the article that I'm reading will be down in the description if you don't feel like Googling it yourself. But like I said, this is basically up to the publishers and the developers if they're going to make these games able to, unite the consoles and the PC players together. Also, you would have to include with that, if Nintendo ever did decide to come out with a legitimate next generation console, the Wii U does not count as a legitimate, console. No one plays on the Wii U. If they came out with a real next gen console, would that factor into adding games to these consoles that are playing together. I'm not exactly sure, but you know, the publishers and developers would kind of, you know, they'd have to get together. You know, Treyarch, even though everyone's pretty much under Activision, like Treyarch and Infinity Ward and stuff, they would all have to consider these things whenever they're making the game, because not only are they going to have to make 3 separate games to run on 3 different platforms, but they're also going to have to make 3 games that run on 3 platforms that they can also play together online together. So, you know, there's a lot going on here. I think, you know, we still are probably at least 2 years out before you started to see Call of Duty become cross-platform, but the conversations are happening now, and it's a conversation I would like to get your guys' opinion on. So if you do have an opinion, please, by all means, feel free to voice it in the comment section below, or as always, the link to my Twitter is down in the description if you want to follow me there, and you can chat with me there. But that is the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, I would appreciate a like if you did enjoy it. If you hated it, then that's fine. Dislike and leave me a comment why. And if you guys are new to my channel, you enjoy my content, a subscription is always appreciated. Make sure to check out everything below in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.